So today we're going to talk about your savings account. And I know, it sounds a little boring, but stick with me. We're going to reframe this whole thing. See, it's not just a defensive shield, it's a powerful offensive weapon, and it's time to learn how to use it.
Okay, let's just jump right in with a little thought experiment. Picture this. It's March of 2009. The entire financial system is on the brink of collapse. The markets have tanked. I mean, they're down like 50%. And you just got an email. Your company is doing massive layoffs. Now, you survived the first round, but that threat, it is very real. So how are you feeling in that moment? Well, your answer, it depends entirely on one single thing.
And what happens next? It has absolutely nothing to do with how talented you are or how much experience you have. Nope. The person with no cash, they're operating from a place of pure fear. They can't risk pushing back. They can't risk looking for another job. But the person with that cash buffer, oh, they operate from a position of strength. It's the exact same crisis, but they are living in two completely different realities.
You see, the difference between those two outcomes, it really just boils down to one simple thing. It's this powerful asset that honestly, most financial advice just gets completely wrong.
Okay, so let's get into the myth of emergency cash. We've all been taught, right? You need an emergency fund. But you know what? Calling it that, it totally misses the point. It is so much more than just a rainy day fund.
Look, the standard advice, it's not wrong. Of course, you need a buffer for when things go sideways, a car repair, a surprise medical bill. But thinking about it only that way is a purely defensive mindset. It's all about protection, all about preventing disaster.
And this is the key shift in thinking we need to make. The real power of cash isn't just about saving your skin when things go wrong. It's about changing how you operate every single day, especially when things are going right. It gives you power. It gives you leverage. It gives you options.
All right, Section 2, the hidden tax on scarcity. You know, to really get why having cash is so powerful, we have to look at the flip side first. We need to talk about the crushing, well-documented costs of not having it. There is a hidden tax on being broke, and trust me, it goes way beyond just dollars and cents. I mean, just look at this number. The scale of this problem it's just staggering. The Federal Reserve found that nearly half of all American adults are one minor incident away from a full-blown financial crisis. We're talking about a $400 shock, a cracked phone screen, a broken toaster. That shouldn't be a catastrophe. But for millions and millions of people, it is.
And it gets even more serious than that. This isn't about how smart you are. Not at all. A really important study from Princeton and Harvard found that the constant mental burden of financial scarcity, it's like losing a full night's sleep every single night. It literally lowers your cognitive performance by an equivalent of 13 IQ points. Think about that. There's a name for this, actually. Researchers call it cognitive tunneling. What it means is, when you're in survival mode, just trying to figure out how to pay the next bill, your brain, it physically cannot plan for the long term. You get completely obsessed with the immediate problem right in front of you, and you get trapped in this dangerous cycle. And that cycle, well, economists call it the poverty premium. It's this vicious feedback loop. Because you don't have cash, you can't pay for your car insurance annually to get that discount. You can't buy groceries in bulk to save money. So what happens? You end up paying more for everything. It's expensive to be poor, and that expense is exactly what keeps you poor. It makes it almost impossible to build up that cash reserve you so desperately need.
So this premium, it's not just financial, it's strategic. It robs you of your ability to think and plan ahead. But what happens when you finally escape that trap? Let's flip this coin over and see.
Okay, Section 3, leverage, discounts, and offense. This is where things get interesting. When you finally move from scarcity to stability, cash doesn't just solve problems anymore. It starts creating advantages. It's time to go on the offense.
Just take a look at this career comparison. We've got two employees with the exact same skills, same job, but cash creates two completely different futures. Employee A, with no cash, can't risk rocking the boat. They just have to comply. But employee B, with 8 months of cash sitting in the bank, they have leverage. They can push back, they can negotiate, they can demand what they're worth, and they can even start a job search without that feeling of desperation.
Over a decade, that little bit of leverage can create a six-figure gap in their income. It's huge. And it's not just about your career either. Having cash, what we call liquidity, gives you a direct, measurable discount in the real world. Take real estate. Cash buyers pay on average 9 to 10% less for the same house. Why? Because they eliminate all the risk for the seller. No worrying about financing falling through, no appraisal issues. On a medium-priced home, that's a $36,000 discount, just for having the cash ready to go.
And you see this pattern repeat itself absolutely everywhere. Buying a car, renting an apartment, even settling a debt. In every one of these situations, the person with cash is able to capture the discount, a discount that exists because someone without cash is forced to pay a premium for that risk. The system rewards liquidity and it penalizes the lack of it. It's as simple as that.
Right about now, you might be thinking, but wait, what about inflation? What about opportunity cost? Isn't holding cash just inefficient? And that's the number one counter-argument you'll hear, that your cash isn't earning market returns. And look, technically that's true, but it's based on a complete misunderstanding of what cash is for. It's confusing two very, very different tools.
Think about it this way. Your stocks, your retirement accounts, their job is long-term growth. Cash has a totally different job. Its function is optionality and stability right now. Your emergency fund is not an investment. It's the insurance policy. It's the foundation, the infrastructure that allows your real investments to survive a crisis so you're never forced to sell everything at the absolute worst possible time.
So how do we actually do this? How do you build this foundation of liquidity? Well, the good news is it's not some all or nothing goal. It's a staged process. And with each level you hit, you unlock a totally new psychological and strategic reality.
It really does happen in these distinct stages. Step 1, just getting that first 1,000 or 2. That eliminates the day-to-day anxiety from those minor shocks. Step 2, getting to 3 months of expenses. That's real protection. That allows you to weather a major storm, like a job loss. But step 3, getting to 6 months or more? That's where the magic really happens. That's when your entire mindset shifts. You stop thinking defensively and you start thinking offensively. You start looking for opportunities instead of just constantly trying to avoid threats.
All right, let's bring this all home with our last section, the ultimate financial choice. Because here's the uncomfortable truth of it all. The system we live in, the one with debt, with income vulnerability, with sudden financial shocks, it's not going away anytime soon.
You can't change the system. The structure of our economy with its gears of debt and opportunity, it is what it is. It's largely fixed. The only thing you can change is your position within that system. And that positioning, well, that's everything.
So you're left with these two contexts, these two realities. Without cash, you have no options. You have to accept what's offered. You just react to survive. But with cash, suddenly you have options. You can negotiate for what you're worth. You can plan to grow. Every single financial decision you make from here on out will happen in one of these two worlds. And the only thing separating them is cash.
Look, the system is going to continue either way. And in every crisis, in every single opportunity, history shows us the same thing again and again. Wealth moves. It moves from the illiquid to the liquid. That transfer of wealth is going to happen, whether we like it or not. The only variable, the only question left, is which side of that transfer are you going to be on? And that choice, that is the real power of cash.